Hi, Tammy. How are you?
Hey, Sid, I'm doing absolutely superb. I hope you had a great Diwali. Happy Diwali to you and all the viewers out there.
I'm fine. Yeah, I went to actually my auntie's place during the weekend because she actually had a Diwali lunch, so that was nice. Although I ended up falling sleepy, I had too much dessert.
That's yeah. Well, it's nice because you can pick out during this time. It's really nice with all the lovely food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to, as usual, catch up with you again because the last topic we did last week was awesome, and it's nice to continue on this particular trajectory, especially unlocking the past secret life secrets with you. Especially the opening question to you is what exactly is past life regression and how does it help someone understand their present life?
So, past life regression is more like a guided hypnosis. You do this with a qualified therapist. It's a technique that allows you to access past life memories, impressions of previous lifetimes stored in your psyche or your subconscious mind. It's used to understand, the technique is used to understand and heal past patterns, fears, emotional blockages that are hampering you in your current life that in the Hindu way we call it your karmic path, your past karmic roots. So it's basically, if it's something that's hampering you, it's you go back. The regression is to go back to heal that part in your life.
Can past life memories influence our current fears, habits, or relationships?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Many believe that past life memories can influence a great deal. Your current fears, your habits, your relationships, unresolved trauma. If sometimes you have people that have this extreme phobia, it comes from, and you never know what it is, and when you delve deeper it comes from past lives. Say for example, if you have the absolute fear of going into the sea, absolute fear of the pool water, when you do a regression you find that that particular person probably drowned in one of their previous lives. Or recently, I listened to one of the radio DJs, and she had an absolute phobia for dogs, and
Oh.
she couldn't handle dogs. Even if she was across the road, she'd like tense up, and she was so
Mhm.
fearful that she would even cry. So she did a past life regression with a therapist who took her to a point, at one point in one of her lives, previous lives, where she was mauled when she was around about 8 years old, and she actually died from being mauled by a dog. And this therapist healed that portion of her life and brought her back. Today, she owns two golden retrievers. So it's phobias, it's repetitive patterns that happen in your life that would alert you to things that have happened in your previous life, that you can do a regression to heal that.
What signs or patterns might indicate that a person's struggles are linked to a past life experience?
So as I mentioned, unexplained
Oh,
fears, your
okay.
phobias,
Okay.
your sometimes it's intense or involuntary reactions to things like fire, water, heights. There's no real with no real cause or explanation in this lifetime. So it's instant connections, deep feelings of familiarity. Sometimes it's discomfort, it's dis-ease that you've not met and healed in your past life that keeps recurring in this life. You also have, sometimes you have those deja vu moments where you have a strong attraction to certain things like places, cultures, eras. And you wonder, why. Like in Hinduism, we call it the vasanas. You come with your vasanas, your set of life rules, if you may say. So, and you might find like how you would find a 3-year-old playing a violin absolutely beautifully. They come with, in one of their previous lives, they were probably a violinist and they were probably in an orchestra, that they come here and it's like smooth sailing. So past life regression is not always a negative thing. It can be a positive thing. Sometimes you might find a total Christian home, born Christian, and you'd get one child who's got an affinity to Islam or to Hinduism. And they find that they actually resonate so well with us. I actually have a friend's daughter who, she's white, born Christian, born in a white, from lineage, they've been born white. And this child has got such an affinity to the Hindu culture. She goes on a Sunday morning, she goes for the bhajans and the kirtans. She loves dressing in the Indian way. She wears the bindi on her forehead. She just loves it, and she just resonates. And she even sings the bhajans, the Sanskrit songs, with such ease. So this has probably been in her life path previously. If I can share a story, if you don't mind.
No.
So what it was actually something that I watched. There's lots of things on YouTube that you can watch, but previously on DSTV, they had something called A Ghost Within My Child. And there was this lady, she had a 3-year-old son. And every time there was a loud noise, he would hold his ears and he would fright. And when there was something on TV, even with the bombings or something, he would ask his mom to please put it off. He couldn't handle it. And the one day, this child was watching TV, and there was something on the news, and he pointed to the screen and he said, "That's where I used to stay. That's where my brothers and sisters are." And at that time, he was 3 years old and he had a 6-year-old sister. So the mother couldn't understand. He used to always talk about his brothers and his sisters and the place that he stayed, and she couldn't quite understand. So she started, she didn't brush it off. She started investigating and asking him questions, and noticed his reaction to certain things, like if there was a bomb blast, if there was a loud noise, or she would deliberately try and do a loud noise to see his reaction. And so when she started researching about this, she found out about, she came across past life regression. And then she started inquiring with the child and showing him things. And so, as I said, he pointed to the TV and he said, "That's where I used to stay." So she went back on that podcast off the news and she looked at that place. And it was a place in the States. I think it was in Washington. And some years ago, there was a bomb blast with, not a bomb blast, a blast where the hotel, the gas cylinder exploded in the basement, because everything's gas in the US, and the gas cylinder exploded in the basement of this hotel building, and everybody went up in flames. It was some years back. So she kept looking at pictures, Googling about it, and she showed her son, and he could resonate with this. So the one day she did a lot of inquiries. She put him into the car and she said, "We're going on a road trip." And they were also in the States, but it was something like an 11-hour drive. So she went to Washington, and she went and saw this place, etc. And she found out about the people that actually, they obviously give you the list of the people that actually lost their lives there. And she went through the list of names with her son. And it was a Black American lady. And he said, that was me. Imagine he's a 3-year-old white boy, 3 going on to 4, and he said that was me. So she investigated this lady's background, where she came from, etc., and she found where this lady lived. So this lady, her parents had died, and she was the one, the breadwinner of the family, growing up her siblings, and she worked in this hotel that blew up. So she went there to this place where this lady lived, and this child jumped out of the car, out of his, as soon as he was unbuckled from his car seat, he ran up the driveway and he hugged this tall, very tall black American, and he called him by his name, which was super strange. So she sat down with the family and she said, this is what my child says. So then they found out that he has been reincarnated as this little white boy, but he was actually a black American before. So it doesn't mean to say, the law of the world, or God is just so, Mother Nature is just so amazing and so mysterious. It doesn't mean to say that, yes, you are white, you're going to be born white, or yes, you're black, you're going to be born black again, if you do believe in reincarnation. This was something really, really so, amazing to me, and eye-opening. And that's what made me more curious about regression and, finding out about past lives, etc. Back to you.
Okay, I have a question for you in the comments. Yeah, this is from Jitin. Yeah. There's a question here from Jitin Rishika. Hi, Tammy. I love the topic today. I have a fear for the sea or pool. Can a past life regression be a repetition in this life? There's actually another part of this question here. Can one tap into their past life? So it's like a 2-part question.
Yes, you can. Thank you for the question. So to answer your question, your fear of pools, you could have drowned, you could have had some sort of trauma while swimming in one of your past lives before. That's what's creating that intense fear now. So if you do, and if you're doing a regression, there are regression practitioners, past life regression practitioners. I would say go to a reputable one, go to somebody who is who's got a name out there, who's practiced the art, some people have it naturally that comes to them. Some people practice it as a form of occupation. So do it with a practiced individual. And you can go through to your past lives and see what had happened previously, heal that part. Like I mentioned with the radio DJ that was mauled with a dog, came back, heal that part, came back now, owns 2 dogs. You can go back, heal that portion of, if you've drowned or whatever the case may be, that you come back now and you're probably a top swimmer. Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Oh, sure. Can one tap into their past life?
Yes. As I mentioned, you can tap into your past life, but you've got to do it with a practitioner.
Okay. All right. Is past life regression therapy safe for everyone, and how should one prepare for a session?
Yes, it is generally safe, but as I mentioned, do it with a qualified therapist. And it's not advised for people with severe trauma, like mental health issues, that because sometimes it is way too painful to actually go through this. There was a series on Netflix as well called Lost, where one of the seasons, they actually showed how this one person had severe trauma, was in a mental institution, and certain things triggered the memory now, and he just couldn't handle it. So he would crawl on the ground and crawl into a ball, and he just couldn't handle the memories. So when you want to do this, you've got to be very open-minded. Obviously, you can't be under the influence of alcohol or narcotics. You got to be in a sane mind, accepting this. And sometimes you might find the practitioner might tell you things that you don't want to hear, or you want to hear, or you've got to be ready for the good and the bad. And when you are in that hypnotic state, you're not really aware of what you're doing, what you're saying. You don't really have control, but the practitioner has to be a certified and a trusted practitioner that can take you into that hypnotic state and bring you safely out.
Can regression sessions bring emotional healing or closure from unresolved past life events?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Uncovering past life events and releasing it, brings you back into this era and lets you heal from those traumas, whatever it was. You understand your roots better, and it helps you let go of the lingering fears, the phobias, the pain, the guilt, and it creates balance and peace in your present life. So whoever I know that has done past life regression has actually come back or come out of that and living their current life absolutely smoothly and beautifully.
All right, my final question to you is, have you had any memorable or life-changing experience with a client that reveals something profound from a past life?
So yes, with myself, I would say that I'm married to an Egyptian, and I always had this immense affinity towards the Islamic religion. Where I grew up in Durban in South Africa, my across neighbors were Muslim, and I spent most of my days with them. I actually grew up with them. I fasted. I did all the Islamic rituals with them. I did basically everything, and I had this absolute affinity towards Islam. And my current husband now is Islamic, and there's certain things that it just rolls. I go with the flow. And when I did a regression, I found out that I was Islamic in one of my previous lives, and I was from the East.
Wow.
I'm not sure where in the East. And even when I went to the Taj Mahal, I went in there. This was a couple of years ago. I went in there and I fell to my knees and I just started crying and I said, I'm home. I just felt this immense, like a welcome. Like how you would, like after a long trip, you would go back home and home is home. I just started crying. And so I always had this affinity to the East, and I never knew why, and especially to the Islamic culture. But when I did a regression, I actually found out that my current husband was my father in one of my previous lives. And I was an 11-year-old boy that had a terminal illness. And I was of Mughal descent at the time, so royalty. And, kings at the time and their sons, their everything. So my current husband was my father, and he, with the worry of me being sick, he actually got sick, and he also lost his life, and I lost my life when I was around about 7. So my husband in the current life has got he's very nurturing. He's like a father figure to me. He's not just my husband. He's more like my best friend. He's it's almost like having this your own Santa Claus sitting on his lap and saying, Santa, I want this, or Santa, I want that. So he's got that nurturing father figure, father element. So when you actually when I look back at that regression, I understand where that's coming from and understand why he sees me in that loving way. He wants to provide for me all the time. He, he's worried about me. He checks up on me. So you understand where that is coming from. And why we're together in this life is for him to fulfill that yearning for that son that he lost. I hope didn't scare anybody.
No. As usual, always a pleasure, and pick up with you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Lovely chatting to you as always. Have a fabulous week further, and we will chat next week, Wednesday.
Likewise.
Love and light.